Hey, what up, guys? This is Ryan with Brainstorms. And so you've been learning about lines, right? There's kind of different ways to see a line. Here is a table format, and you have your x values and your y values, and you remember, these are going up by a constant amount every time. Look, up by 2, up by 2, up by 2. Hey, that must be a line, a straight line. And of course, graphically, it's really easy to see. You'd say, oh, that's totally a straight line, right? Well, every line can be represented by a linear equation. So they might just show you the equation of a line and not a table and not a picture, but you still get good at, with the equation of a line, identifying key parts and knowing exactly what it looks like. And this is what that means. This equation here, y equals mx plus b, right? And at first glance, you should probably not know at all what that means. But it comes down to m and b are key parts, and this is what it is. And so this m and b are so important, and they're parts of your line. They kind of give you info into your line. And m is the slope of the line, right? How steep it is. Does it go up? Does it go down? That's what m is. And b is what's called your y-intercept, right? So y-intercept is your b. And what's really annoying is, like, why is it called b? That has nothing to do with a y-intercept. Or why is m slope? Don't even worry about it. Who cares why some random mathematician made that up? But m is slope and b is your y-intercept. So when you have an equation of a line, like something like this, y equals, who cares, 2/3 x plus 5. Right away, as you get familiar with these linear equations, you're only going to zero in on the slope and the y-intercept, and then you can graph any line immediately from those two things. And so here's how you do that. Oh, can I just move them to the side so I'd have more room here? But again, let me underline, let me point out, this is the slope, right? My m, or my slope, and this is my y-intercept. We'll call it the y-int. And the reason that's so important is this is how you graph any line. So, okay, here's my xy coordinate plane, and of course, if I had graph paper, it'd be even better, but we'll just kind of rough it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, comes out like that. And this isn't perfect, but again, you get the point. Okay, and now, the way to do this every time, whenever you see a linear equation in the form y equals mx plus b, to graph it or to start drawing your line, you always start with the b, the y-intercept. And the name y-intercept got that name because it's where it intercepts the y line. If you remember, this is your x line and this is your y line. So where does it cross or intercept this y up and down line? It intercepts it at 5. That's what that means. So you could come up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know that that's a point on my line. That's where it crosses that. So that's always where we start. We start with our b, our y-intercept, and we put a dot. Done. Now from there, I need a second point to draw any line. I need 2 points at least to draw a line. So where's my next one? I mean, is it here? Is it here? Who knows, right? That's where the slope comes in. The slope is directions to your next point, right? And if you remember, any slope is always rise over run. So it's kind of rise this much and then run to the side this much. So this would be up 2 over 3. From where? Do I start from the origin? No, that's a common mistake. You don't start here and go up 2 over 3. You start from the point you've already made, which is your y-intercept. So coming over here, now let's go. Well, let me put one more or a few more up here. Okay, so starting at my y-intercept 5, I'm going to go up 2 over 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, something like that. And now I totally have, let's see if I can draw that. Now I have my line because all I need are those 2 points. Easy. So people love this. Well, I guess adults and teachers love the linear equation y equals mx plus b because it's so fast to know exactly what your line looks like. We know our b, so we know it's up here. We know our slope is over here. And so you'll get better and you'll kind of identify. Sometimes the slopes look weird or the y-intercepts, but overall, that's all this is about. So let's look at a bunch of examples really quick. Okay, and here's 2, right? So we're going to look at this, and we're going to quickly be able to kind of graph these. So remember, no matter what, I always start in my y-intercept, my b, right? This last one here, so that's all I'm looking at. And this one's kind of weird. It says -3. Does that mean I go up 3? Do I go 1, 2, 3 up here? No, a -3, you actually are going to end up going down. Let me make these really quick. You're going to end up going down 3. Is that weird? So check it out. So if it's -3 for my b, I go down 1, 2, 3, and here is my first point, my y-intercept. Then from there, I need directions to my next point. That's what my slope is. That's what this guy here does for me. Now I know this is rise over run, so apparently I go up 1 over 4. So let's go up 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and there's my line. Is that cool? These are kind of easy. People don't hate these that much, right? Okay, now I'm trying to mess you up a little bit, right? I'm making it a little different. Look at this one over here. So it looks like my y-intercept is positive. It looks like it's 2, so that's pretty easy so far. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, put a bunch of lines here, a bunch of lines here, right? Bunch of lines here and here. Okay, so this one's not that bad yet. My b, my y-intercept is up 2. Who cares? 1, 2. I have my first point. Now my directions from there, be careful. When I look at my directions, my slope from there, they're kind of weird. What's this minus deal? So it's rise over run. So if this is how far I go up or down, and this is how far I go to side, this is actually down 2 and then positive 3. So I go 1, 2 down, 1, 2, 3 this way, and my slope goes like that. There's my line. A little crooked, a little sketchy, but that's it. So you'll get the hang of it too. This makes sense. This was positive 1 up and positive 4 to the right. This was negative 2 down and then 3 to the right. I didn't go negative and negative, and that would have messed it up. This is definitely a negative line. The fastest way to identify it is positive lines look like this. They're going up and to the right, and negative lines are going down and to the right. So that's right. Looks like I got that right. All right, but the quick thing that you're going to learn in this section really is, if I draw a bunch of linear equations, I want you to be able to tell me in less than like a millisecond what the slope is, right? And what's the y-intercept? You should get so fast at it, you should glance at it and say, slope is whatever, and then y-intercept is whatever. So let's try that. So I'll write a bunch of them, and all your job is to find the slope or the y-intercept. Okay, check it out. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Okay, so I have 6 linear equations up here, and they're all in this y equals mx plus b form, even if they don't always look like it, right? So this first one, don't think too hard. Here's my m and my b, my slope and my y-intercept. Okay, so what's my slope? M equals what? My slope? It's just the guy in front of the x, so you don't even have to think hard at all. Who is in front of or attached to the x is my answer, and so that would just be quickly 1/4. What is my b or my y-intercept? It's the last guy, and since he's a plus, he's a positive, it's just 5. Easy? All right, zip through and finish these without me. Okay, this slope here, who's in front of the x? It looks like 2/3. There's no weirdness there. And my b, my y-intercept, it looks like is 2. That was pretty easy. This one's kind of weird. Here we have m and b. Now, somebody told me back in the day, slope has to be a fraction, because how could I have a rise over a run if I don't have a fraction? And then I get to this and I'm like, this is weird. Don't forget, any whole number is absolutely the same as being represented over 1, which this is. So this is actually, the slope is -4. I don't have to put over 1, but when it comes to graphing, I should know that, because then I'm going to go, right, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, and that's how I get it. This definitely is over 1. Yes, you don't have to write it that way, but you have to know that when it comes to graphing. Okay, what about my b or my y-intercept? Easy, -1. Okay, this one here, this one's a little weirder. I have m equals and b equals. What's my slope? Wait a minute, there is no slope. Like you said, hey, it's the guy stuck in front of the x. What if there is nothing? Well then, whenever that's true, it is 1, because x is the same as 1x, or 1 times x. And yes, if you wanted this in a fraction, it'd be 1 over 1. So my m here, weirdly, is just 1. What's my b? That's easy, 9. Look at this sucker here. This one's kind of weird. I have m equals and b equals. Well, the m is not that bad. It's actually 5. My slope is 5. But what happened to my b? There is no b. And importantly, there is no b. That's correct. So couldn't you visualize this as plus 0, plus nothing? That's what it is. My b, if 1 is not there, is just simply 0. Is that cool? All right, look at this one. M and b, right? My slope, no problem. -2/3. Who cares that it's negative? That's not weird. And this is not 5. This is -5. So that's the explanation for y equals mx plus b. And now that you have all these, I could quickly tell you to graph these, and I know you could do them. Go up 5, put a point, up 1 over 4, go up 2, put a point, up 2 over 3, and so on. You get good at them. But for now, I really hope that you can just quickly identify, hey, what's the slope of this, and what is the y-intercept? So that's it. That's how you do these. You guys will probably totally get 100% on this section, because it's pretty easy to find the slope and the y-intercept if it's in this format, which they will be. All right, good luck, you guys.